Hi guys, welcome back to August Love Story channel. My name is Artieka.
And I'm Tommy.
And today we are reviewing Married at First Sight, season 15, episode 13. The episode is titled The Ugly Truth. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. Your light is on your phone.
Oh, thank you for telling me.
You're welcome. It's just shining on the screen down here.
Oh.
Let's start with Stasha and Nate. So this week was the week that everybody met with the experts. Apparently, they have like 2-ish weeks left.
Yeah.
Of the experiment time.
Yeah, because we down to 12 days.
Yeah. And so this is their last time to meet with the experts. So Stasha and Nate's expert was Pastor Cal. And he asked them about if they've come to a decision in regards to falling in love. And Stasha says that she loves him. She's told him that she loves him. And Nate said, I admire her.
I wonder what's his block from saying he loves her.
He 34 and I never said it before.
Yeah, but
Stasha said he's 35, so I guess he had a birthday recently.
I guess so. I just find that to be weird because it's not weird, but it's like Pastor Cal was like, have you stopped yourself from saying I love you?
Keep talking.
And it's just weird that you just
start. It was something in your hair.
Oh, okay. But like Pastor Cal asked him, have you thought about saying I love you? And you stopped yourself. He was like, yeah. I was like what's stopping you from saying I love you? It's
a badge that he has worn. This is, I've never said it, so like I'm not gonna just easily say it. Like 5 weeks is easy to say it. Like it's too easy. Like we gotta go through some stuff. That's what I'm thinking the thought process is.
I think I said this before, but I feel like so many people put so much pressure on the love word when it's like it's not pressure.
It's funny because once you actually fall in love, you start reevaluating all the people that you told you love in the past. Yeah. You'll be like, man, I ain't love him. I ain't love her.
It was a liking, a strong liking.
I don't even know if I really liked them, but it was just like you were caught up in an infatuation phase, especially if it was like you're thinking back to like middle school and high school relationships. Sorry for us sniffling. We both have really bad allergies and the season decided to act like it's not the South.
Man.
It got cold fast.
It said it's going to get us.
And it got the whole house.
Yeah.
So they sit down with Pastor Cal and not Pastor Cal. This is still the Pastor Cal conversation. Yeah. When he says that he's disappointed in the fact that she has cheated in the past and it's been over 10 years ago. And I'm like, okay, Stasha's 37. This happened at 27 minimum. Because we're saying over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be the same person at 37 that you were at 27.
But it shouldn't affect him any.
It also... Either. You are absolutely correct because we've had that conversation. Yeah. Like in the past, you have cheated on a girlfriend.
Right.
If I was spending my time being disappointed in you about that, like I would be able to find so many other things to be disappointed about.
Exactly.
Like from your former self. I think that's his Newton got attacked.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to find something.
But I think he like genuinely likes this girl.
He does. He's not sabotaging it with it, but that's his something.
That's his something.
Like his something to hold on to and be like, hey.
But it's crazy that he just found out about it. You know, like that's like.
Well, he known her for 5 weeks.
Man, that would have came up in conversation. So at some point, we talk about relationships, past relationships.
Well, we don't know exactly when it came up. We just know that it's a
We know that he found out today. I mean, you know, or whenever they recorded that.
I guess.
So it's like, man, first off, they're not having the right conversations. Because if that's when you found that out, you should have been on that and been able to work past that. But it's like, she can't, her past life shouldn't be a disappointment to you. Her past life is just preparing her for the person that she is today with you. So whatever she went through in her past, as long as she's not bringing that past into her current, I think you're fine. Like you have to accept the past, or don't accept the past and move past it.
And you also have to find out the why.
Yeah.
Because your reason for, going back to you, your reason for cheating was stupid, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have to accept that you're not that person anymore and be able to move forward with it. He got to figure out what her why was and be able to move.
I don't even think he has to figure out the why. I just think he needs to, okay, you cheated before. All right, I can accept that and move past it.
Yeah.
If he wants to be with her.
Yeah. And I think he does.
Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
I was shaky on him in the very beginning.
Very much so.
They met up with each other's friends. Those conversations really didn't take me anywhere that I wasn't even moved to write a note. Were you?
Nah, they brought up, the only thing I brought up or wrote down was he brought up the cheating thing, and that like sparked one of his insecurities. I was like, brother, if she cheat on you, ain't nothing you can do about it.
Nope.
So the best thing you can do is enjoy time right now.
And her cheating on you has absolutely nothing to do with you.
Absolutely nothing.
It has everything to do with her if she does decide to cheat.
Right.
Let's see. We'll skip over them and leave them to the end. Let's do Morgan and Ben because we're happy they're done.
All right, so next couple.
I've been waiting on somebody to outright ask her, like, are you willing to stay in this marriage? And thank God for Dr. Pepper. Outright just asking that question.
Yeah.
And basically, their relationship is over. One of the things that bothered me was that Morgan kept reiterating that she's soft with the right person and if she trusts the person. And I want to know, how can your trust be so broken because Ben asked someone else to help him talk through the potential of you maybe not being a nurse?
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I think one thing happened and she couldn't let it go.
And then that just spiraled.
And it just snowballed into a bigger issue. And Ben was trapped in a corner and didn't have an out.
Right.
So he just did the best that he could do. Understood, like I think Ben started to understand a lot more about himself than he ever had. And I think he was like, had some revelations about himself, like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Let me go to this therapy. Let me do these things to be prepared for the next lady.
Which it also makes sense why he said that he didn't say it, but Justin said it on After Party on the episode, was like him and Ben are as close as they were.
Yeah.
It's like Ben has gone on this soul searching journey, because one of the things that bothered me that he mentioned was that, like, when they were talking about the meeting before getting to Dr. Pepper, he was like, I don't want to get a divorce because my parents are traditional. And I'm like, why does that matter?
It doesn't.
About you getting a divorce.
It does not.
Like, your parents ain't got nothing to do with that.
Nope. Because it's your marriage. Your parents don't have anything to do with your marriage, but you're being your parents.
Right. I remember when we got engaged, somebody was like, do your parents like him? I was like, do I like him?
Right.
That's the same thing when we started having kids. Somebody was like, how does your mom feel about you being pregnant? How do I feel about me being pregnant?
Right.
Because I am ultimately the one that has to deal with this. Like, this is my marriage. Those are my kids. Yeah, they're around, but they don't have to be around day to day. I think that that's some stuff that he's going to have to figure out. He said that he's looking at moving away from San Diego. I definitely think that that would be a good first start for him, especially with all these new life revelations that he's recently had.
Yeah.
I'm also happy to not have to see Morgan basically say, "You're not apologizing to me."
Mm-hmm.
Where would you like to go next? Lindy and Miguel or Alexis and Justin?
We can do Lindy and Miguel.
All right. You good?
Yeah.
McGindy is gone.
Mm-hmm.
They go axe throwing, and apparently Lindy is a natural at axe throwing.
And Miguel sucks.
I don't even want to say Miguel sucks.
No, he sucks. He didn't stick it
at all. Well, yeah, you're right. He never hit it one time. And Lindy was just like moving along. 1, 2, 3, blue. Like she was making it through everything.
That's how it would be with us, probably.
What do you mean?
Like I think, yeah, I got this, not hit anything, but you just like, yeah,
kind of like us playing the Wii.
The bowling game.
Yeah. They had a conversation about being in a loveless marriage, and I was very confused by what was the point of this conversation, because like she was really getting upset, and they've already said they love each other, so I didn't see the point of this conversation.
I didn't know where he was going with it, but I also didn't understand her getting upset about it. But that was one of the big things that they talked about throughout this whole episode was how Lindy like actually internalizes everything, and then it blows up into a big issue.
Yeah. Sorry, we hear a child activating.
Right.
Miguel goes to lunch with one of Lindy's friends. That's where that defensiveness conversation comes up. And he said he doesn't want to feel like he has to be censored in their relationship. Lindy does have to stop internalizing things because
like it's not going to be helpful at all.
Right. That's what she's doing. They sit down with Pastor Cal and talk about Lindy's extremes. And he was like, "What has Miguel seen you at?" She's like, "About a 4.5. He was like, "That's a 4.5?
Right. Why even?
Like, you have cussed me clean out.
Right. That's a 4? Oh my goodness.
And he's like, "How often do you get to a 10? She was like, "Only like twice in my whole life." He was like, "In all your almost 30 years, twice." She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, so can you handle this 4? Because that seems like that's what you're going to get." And Miguel is a little bit uncertain. I think he's the person that the producers are like, give him some doubt.
Yeah. I think he
and it's easy for him to give some doubt with the way she went off on him.
Yeah. I think he's still like shaky about everything, wanting to like actually look for it out. And that's his.
Yeah.
It's like she is this irrational person that has a temper problem.
Right.
Basically goes through these and have temper tantrums.
Yeah.
That he doesn't want to deal with. So.
Right. And it doesn't make sense how they happen, because like the one at the axe throwing was just like, this is all hypothetical, guys. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, like this is a made up situation.
So yeah, I'm interested to see their outcome. So let's go to, we don't have anybody else but Alexis and Justin before we get to Mitch and Kristen.
Yeah.
So Alexis and Justin. Justin goes out to eat with her friend Will. Will basically just tries to tell him that Alexis is just scared. And I was like, she's scared to be with him because she doesn't like him. You missed a lot of words after scared.
Yeah.
They go and they meet up with Devon Franklin. That is their expert. I do like how he was introduced. He only had one couple This also seems to have been filmed before he and Megan announced their divorce because he referred to Megan as my wife.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I liked was that he got to the root of why she feels like she needs to go out all the time. And she was like, it's freedom.
Yeah.
In her relationship, she feels like she's smothered and she wants freedom. However, he was like, aside from the club, what other things make you feel free? She started rattling off a list of stuff. And then he was like, Justin, do you like those things? One by one, Justin was like, yeah, that sounds fun. And she didn't have anywhere else to go because she doesn't like him.
Yeah. That was the issue. Like, she can't just flat out say, I just don't like him.
She could.
She could, but
it takes away from the lie that she's been telling for the last 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah.
But it was very interesting to like hear that she's like, she says that her thing is freedom, but then when she's offered freedom within the constraints of her relationship, like, not to say you can't go to the club, or you saying that these are the things you like to do them with me. And she's like, nah, I'm cool.
I'll pass.
He says that he doesn't really like her going to the club because he feels like the club is going to make him lose her. And Devon was like, if she starts spending too much time anywhere, you're going to feel that way. You got to let that part of yourself go.
Yeah.
And I was like, he feels like he's going to lose her because he knows that she doesn't like him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's holding on to what she's saying about them being together.
Yeah. Well,
even though he sees the action.
That's all he can hold on to.
Right. But he sees the actions too.
Yeah.
So they talk about their sex life and it being an imbalance. And essentially, Alexis wants him to initiate.
Yeah.
And he is having issues with initiating because he doesn't know how it's going to be received.
Or he feels like that the way she receives it is not, she doesn't want it like he wants it. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird. You know, it's a weird dynamic, but if he's like, oh, you know, trying to get something started and she just laying there, for the man, it's like, I don't want to do this. Like, I want to do this, but I want you to want to do this.
When you said that, I heard, I don't have to take this. I'm going home. I get that. Like, I can see that being an issue. And then if she really doesn't want to do it, and that's the way that she's responding to it, he's like, why try?
Yeah.
Because I feel like if she really wanted to have sex with him, they would have already.
Right.
And it wouldn't be an issue of waiting on him because she would have just been like, I want to have sex.
It's like, you know, when it's about to go down.
And I would expect that it would at least happen after the club, 2 hours at the club.
Yeah.
That's the story she tells.
But he should go with her.
Going with her or not, I think that it should happen.
I don't know.
Just think about like the way the fun that you have going out to the club, or that we had, because it's been like a decade.
Yeah.
The fun that you have going out to the club or whatever, and then like being a little bit drunk, you come home, you got a husband or a wife there, you're like, hey, it never clicked. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah, I think it's all because she doesn't want to have sex with him. Mm-hmm. So she don't find him attractive. It's like if a man junk can't get hard, then like ain't nothing finna happen. You know?
That is true.
And so it's like, if she can't, you know.
Oh, this conversation, by the way, happened at was it a pool barbecue? Couple situation.
You remember the last time they was at the volleyball thing?
You know, I got it. I'm just saying I didn't mention where this conversation happened at. And then Yeah, that was Devon's assessment of her, was like, you got to make it easier for him. Like,
Yeah. He actually asked her for help. And I was like, how's she going to help you?
I've been confused about verbiage between the two of them with a lot of things.
Yeah. Like, I was like, how does she help you be more dominant in sex? And I'm like, you have to try more. Like the trying is kiss her on the neck, touch her booty, rub her back, the small of her back, not just, it's 9 o'clock, let's have sex, or something like that. Like, you have to give the signs and she has to receive the signs, and she has to give the signs and you have to receive them. But she's asking you to initiate those signs.
It didn't come out.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at you like, are you all right?
Man, I am really over this.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
sinus thing sucks.
Yeah, I might have to get some medicine in my system this morning. I don't really have anything else for them.
Nah, Alexis is she started some more mess too.
She did.
Anyway, we'll get to that.
We're at it now.
Are we?
So Kristen and Mitch. Kristen sits down with Mitch's sister-in-law, and basically she told her, you need to put out your non-negotiables for Mitch and make it all clear. She was like, Mitch and I had a power struggle at one point in time, like, because he was their Manny.
It's his sister-in-law, right?
Yeah. He was their Manny for the girls, and she was like, Mitch can talk all this environmentally safe stuff that he wants, but we still using diapers.
Yeah.
Like, non-negotiable.
Right.
She was like, I gave on some things and other things were non-negotiables. She was like, some stuff I could like take a few extra steps and deal with. Other things, no, stop, get out of my face. She was like, you're going to have to figure out what those things are for you and lay like this list out for him. So Kristen and Mitch meet with Dr. Pepper. That's their expert. And they kind of go through their unanswered questions. And she was like, I need to know that he's going to be okay with me having an iced latte. And I was like, is the iced latte the issue or is it the cup? Because it's the cup.
Yeah.
What are we going to do here? He's not telling you don't have coffee.
Right. He's definitely
and that's
not
what you're
saying
saying. Like, you're taking it to an extreme, but he's not saying don't have coffee. I do think that it's annoying for someone to constantly remind you, put it in a reusable cup.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is good for the environment. And if you go to Starbucks, don't you get a discount for using your own cup? Like, buy the Starbucks hard plastic cup.
I don't think he knows how to have his extremism as well as make it easier in life.
Yeah.
Because I get save the planet because it's the only one we have. And we should take care of our, home.
So we don't become like dinosaurs.
Right. But also, a person that does not do the same thing you do, introducing them to small things will eventually get them to do the bigger things and be more interested in the bigger things because they're interested in you.
Right. Like, one of the things that he mentioned was like, when we move, we won't have paper towels in our house. And she was like, yeah, we can have real towels, but I'm not going to be the only one washing them.
Right. Like, you have to wash these towels too.
And see, in his house.
Yeah.
I understand why she thinks she's going to be the only one washing them, because we haven't seen any conflict about like little things like that between them. However, it doesn't make me feel like that conflict doesn't exist.
We don't think he cleans as well as she does.
Correct. She also mentioned about him flipping houses about her flipping houses and his reaction to it. And he went off on this whole environmentalism is like social justice and blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. I get exactly where he's coming from, right? Because Tommy and I were able to spend less money on our home than one in the same neighborhood that had been flipped by an investor, right?
Mm-hmm.
So exactly what he said is coming into practice for our lives.
Yeah.
It wasn't that we could not have afforded the investor flipped home. It was just a more economical decision for us to come in and update things on our own. But I don't think that Kristen is going to be displacing people in neighborhoods because she wants to come in and paint some walls and change some cabinets.
I think if you're able to do it, like I get it, 30, 40 years ago, people wasn't flipping homes like this.
Right. You would have to come in and you have to be us. Come in and do all your own updates.
But in like the housing market now, a lot of people can't afford housing and, it's entirely too much to rent and you got redlining and all this and all that.
Look at you talking to your real estate agent friend and learning terminology.
Redlining was like interesting to me because it was like, dang, that's how they did us.
Yep.
Like that's how you create communities, but then they also call these community ghettos.
Mm-hmm. You basically structure a community where it fits, where you have to pretty much be impoverished to live in it.
Right.
And I don't want to say impoverished because I feel like if you're living in poverty, it's really difficult to become a homeowner.
Right.
However, it creates economically disadvantaged communities.
Yeah. But, and that's what he's looking at. I'm like, she's looking at a check. Because if I had the money to like invest in homes and real estate, that's what I would do.
Right.
That's how I would feed my table. But then also as a extra thing, I would also teach other people to do it. Or
we know a few people that are doing that.
Yeah, I would have other people working with me to get them on to feed their table. Because I'm always like, if I have food on my table and my family's good, I want to be able to feed somebody else's table.
Right.
And make sure their family is good. And so they pass that down. Because the thing about it is, or the thing that I've learned, is that you can't change the world without changing your world.
Right.
And so if I can affect my corner of the world and change my corner of the world, then that can leak off into the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. And I've done my part as being a human being.
It's kind of like the beautification efforts. I think I was telling you about this recently, like the neighborhood that my mom grew up in.
Yeah.
And it's also where I went to elementary school. There's like this big effort now for beautification, like, and creating a community garden and being sustainable within the neighborhood because it's a food desert.
Yeah.
In that area now. Yeah. It wasn't growing up, but it is now.
The fact that food deserts are a real thing.
Right.
It's one of the most scariest things in the world because it's like, how did we get here?
Right. Usually it's because of theft.
Right. Like, and that's another thing.
We're about to go off on a whole tangent.
Completely go off on
We should talk about this one day.
We should.
On the channel.
We should.
But like, knowing that these things exist and just bring it back to Married at First Sight.
Go ahead.
Knowing that these things exist and Mitch feels so strongly about it, I don't know if they can come to a resolve where he's not like, my wife is part of the problem.
They'll come to a resolve when she start bringing in them checks.
If he can put the checks into something that's important to him.
Right. Like, I mean, like if she's flipping houses the way that she wants to, or,
that she imagines,
and she's bringing in money that, she expects to bring in, if he could look at it and be like, oh, okay, this is what you mean, and you're not doing a bad thing, because it's not a bad thing.
Uh-huh.
It becomes bad when you're fighting against the person that's trying to buy their first home.
Uh-huh.
That situation looks bad because what you're doing is you have a big dump of cash that you can come in and fix a house up real quick and then sell it for a higher amount.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
and we literally watched that happen. Houses that we put in offers on were back on the market like 60 days later, and all they did was painted the kitchen cabinets.
Yeah, and put new appliances in the house.
Yeah, like put a new refrigerator, new stove, painted the kitchen cabinets, $50,000 more.
Yeah,
and that's a quick payday for them because they didn't spend $10,000 on that.
Right. So it's like, you know, you see these things happen, but, you know, she started bringing in those checks. He'll come around because his thing is, well, I don't want to be hypocritical. I don't think you are. This is just a way for you to get, provide for your family.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Mitch's question to her was, does she still have the same love and sex standards that she had in the beginning of their relationship?
Because they haven't said, I love you. They
haven't said, I love you. And then now they're not having sex anymore either. And she's like, no, things have changed. And they ended the conversation with Dr. Pepper saying that they're both hopeful for decision day. Then Mitch has a conversation with her sister because everybody's talking to their spouse's friend or family. The conversation that Mitch had with her sister was that he wanted some tips on how to get her to like wear less makeup and be more natural. And Kristen was livid. Now, I had this conversation with Tommy. As a person who only wears makeup for special occasions.
Yeah.
Because I was about to say wears minimal makeup, but special occasions are minimal makeup.
Yeah.
I think the most makeup I've ever worn was...
your wedding day.
Yeah, my wedding day and Crystal's wedding day.
Yeah. You look like a different person on Crystal's wedding day.
Did I?
Yeah. You look good. But
I mean, I could see that. I looked at a picture of me and I was like,
Artieka, that's Nicole right there.
I could see that being a thing, but I'm a person who wears like limited makeup. Like every time we get ready to go somewhere, I'm like, I gotta go to Walgreens because I gotta get a new eyebrow pencil. I gotta get new mascara. The only thing that I probably would still have left from the last time is lip gloss or lipstick. I don't think that I would be offended if a person told me that they like me better not done up. I also don't think that I would be offended if you said to me, hey, you looked really nice at Crystal's wedding. Maybe the next time we go out, you should get that lady to do your makeup.
Yeah.
It depends on how you say it, of course. But if you said those things in the manner in which I just said them, I don't think that I would be offended.
I don't get his issue with her wearing makeup. I mean, she don't look like a clown.
Unless the makeup getting on things is what's bothersome. And he just can't say that.
I would say that versus don't wear makeup, don't get your hair done, don't wear nice clothes and stuff like that.
It just feels like he's trying to change her consumerism when we get into the clothes, all that stuff. But like the makeup part of it all, it's just like the sentiment behind it to me is you're beautiful the way that you are.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what he's saying, but that's not what she's hearing.
I think that's what he needs to say.
To change me.
Yeah, like and that's pretty much like you gotta look at how he started the whole situation off with. I'm not attracted to you.
Right.
You know, then here it is, almost at the end, you're talking to her sister about how do I have the conversation with her about her not wearing makeup or, you know, having her hair done and stuff like for me, those are irrelevant things.
Uh-huh.
You know, because my whole thing would be, are you a good person? Do I like you? Do I think you're pretty? Can I do this with you?
Uh-huh.
You know, those are the things that I would think about. Her wearing makeup, her like clothes and all this and all that. Like, I would just have to get over that.
Right. So then at the group gathering, they're talking about them working through things. And then Alexis is like,
Alexis need to shut up.
Hey, yo, Mitch, you cool with her like looking the way she looking? And he was like, did I say something to her about this? And Kristen is like, but it was said. Like, that's not what she said, but that's basically the equivalent of it. Like, he's like, I don't remember having this conversation with you. Miguel is like, I don't remember this conversation ever.
Yeah. Justin was like, no, I remember you said it. Shut up, Justin.
Right. And Mitch is basically like, but I didn't have this conversation with her, so why she in my business?
Right.
And Stasha and Nate are like, ooh.
Right. You think they gonna make it? No.
And Morgan is there instigating like, that's right, girl. I'm not gonna be the only one getting a divorce.
Right.
Kristen lets all this stuff build up, and then she gets this like really huge breaking point, and it keeps happening.
Yeah.
But
More
it keeps
frequent
happening
now.
on the same things
Yeah.
over and over again. And it's like, if it's gonna trigger you like this, let it go. Which I think there's a lot of red flags in their relationship that she has like completely overlooked.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not saying that this is the straw that broke the camel's back. It should have been a lot of straws that you didn't address.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the one that you want to address at the prompting of Alexis. And then Dr. Pepper comes in and she's like, hey, do you think she's cute? And he like, yeah. She was like, but that's beside the point. He's saying these things to my sister, and I'm like, first off, Mitch should have known that anything you say to the sister is going to come to the wife in the exact or worse way than how you said it.
He should have noticed that she wasn't appreciating what he was saying.
Right. The fact that he felt like he needed to talk to her sister about it and he couldn't just directly say it to her.
Right.
Says, hey, it might be a touchy subject. Should have been something that was brought up with Dr. Pepper.
Mm-hmm. Definitely should have been something that brought up with Dr. Pepper.
And then Dr. Pepper is like trying to be the calm and rational person. And it's like, hey, look, he said you're attractive. You ain't hear that part?
She's like, nah, but it ain't gonna work this time.
I just want Alexis to mind her business in general.
Man, so much so.
And then Kristen.
You feel bad for Kristen because it's like you don't really know how she feels, but you can kind of see how she feels a little bit, and she's hurt.
She is.
And she's hurt by him saying she's enough, but then not saying that she's enough.
That's the part that's confusing to me, because in this situation, what exactly is it that you're hurt by?
Yeah.
Are you hurt because he said you're more attractive without makeup and you want to, you only feel attractive with makeup?
Like I told you the other day, last night, it was like she's insecure about how she looks. You know, she has to be. You know what I'm saying? So she's so easily to forget about herself and cling on to what, like Mitch, in this case, Mitch wants, right? And she forgets about her wants. And
this is the one thing she has for herself.
Yeah, is her appearance.
Okay.
And so he's wanting to change that. It's like, no, like this is all I have.
She was even talking about like him asking her, would she be interested in a cup instead of like tampons or pads? And I was like,
they have nothing to do with me. As a man, I
am intrigued by the idea of cups. I own one. I've never used it, but I own one. And I was like, I bought it and then I got pregnant. So that's why I never used it. But it's like, is it something that he should have a say in? Absolutely not. But I think it's all about how you approach the topic.
Man, you talk to me about those things. Only thing I'd be like is, are you still bleeding? Like that, and then like as long as it's not harming you in any type of way. But my main concern is, are you still bleeding?
Well, usually the conversations that I'm having with you are not for me to sway you into feeling like you should want this for me. Yeah. It's usually like, hey, did you know that this existed? Let me tell you about it.
Exactly.
So it's like, the approach.
Right. I don't think that's a conversation he has with her.
It shouldn't be. But like, unless he was like, hey, I went to like a event and they gave me some of these. You want one? Yeah. I can't use it.
Like I would be like, if it was my child, it'd be like, yo, let's see what these, whatever.
But even then, at that age, I would be talking to her about what she's more comfortable with before I brought it up to you.
I wouldn't that wouldn't be a conversation I would start. Because I would probably freak out when it happens to Lily.
I don't know why.
Lord Jesus, Lord, my baby is growing up.
I don't know why you would freak out, but okay. Whatever.
Could you imagine that she's like with me and that happens? Like, what are we supposed to do?
I've actually thought about that.
Did you?
Yes. And literally, it's going to be kind of like when we had the fire at the apartment.
Yeah.
Look, give her the phone.
Right.
Let me talk to her. Let me tell her what she needs.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll just eliminate you from the equation. Right. All you need to do is have the money.
Right. I have that.
But I think that Mitch is inserting himself far too much into her things.
Yeah.
And not their things.
Right.
And like, Kristen is going to have to insert herself more into their things because the first time we've heard her like discuss something that she's unhappy about outside of him pushing at her for things is like the paper towel situation.
Yeah.
The way she said it, there's obviously something there, something behind it. Yeah. Discuss that stuff.
Right.
But I don't know if they'll be able to make it anyways because
I don't think so. I think it's too much that she has to do and she has to be so careful to not to hurt his feelings before she can even be comfortable with what's going on. So I don't think they're going to make it. And she was like, I'm done. But her I'm done, it doesn't mean that she's really done.
Because she's been done before.
Yeah. So.
Anywho, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Let's go get these noses cleaned.
Let's get them clean, man, because so need to.
I'm about to go buy me some Vicks or something. If you guys haven't, again, please subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and comment down below.
Yes, sir.
What you guys, I guess, what could be the compromise for Mitch and Kristen?
I don't know. Getting a divorce. Saying no on decision day is the compromise.
Yeah, probably so. Anywho, we'll see you guys Sunday on Jack and Glenn's channel.
Yep.
And Monday or Tuesday back here. And then Wednesday-ish for our podcast.
Yeah.
I have to say the ish because it came out Thursday this week.
Yeah, but it came out. So go check it out.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Peace.